welcome to the 5-day accountability challenge, day 2. And this is the perfect day. My very good friend, Suzanne McColl, is here, and she is a mindset expert, right? And you are an expert on limiting beliefs and an expert on squashing those limiting beliefs and dealing with self-sabotage, right? So I think it's kind of funny that here we just co-hosted this conference together, and this was your topic, and today this is the topic, and here you are as my guest, right? So day 2 accountability challenge in our 5-day challenge. Of course, we know accountability drives results, right? We've set those goals, and now we're trying to get clear on them, and we're going to break down those goals. But I asked people to pick, on yesterday's challenge, I asked people to pick one goal, and we're going to break that goal down throughout the week to set ourselves up for accountability. And so I want to talk a little bit today about mindset and imposter syndrome, and how important that is when you're dealing with achieving those goals, right? How are we showing up for ourselves is ultimately what it is. And I know that this is a topic that's near and dear to your heart, and you've been teaching on this for years. So when we think about how we're showing up for our business, right? And we want to think about one of the things I love to teach people is the tiny little shift, right? The power of shift. So if we think about our goals and we think like, oh my gosh, I can never do this, they're too big. We want to change our vibration because that's a low vibration, right? We want to catch ourselves when we say things like, I'm so overwhelmed, right? Just that little shift to, I feel overwhelmed. And I'm sure this is something you teach in your practice, right?
Yeah. So if put it outside a little.
Right. So if we're feeling overwhelmed on our goals and achieving those goals, and we say that means we're owning we're overwhelmed. So let's just kind of shift a little bit about it. So I have 3 questions here on the workbook. And the first question is, list some obstacles you can foresee reaching for your goals. So when we think about these goals, and now we want to be realistic. We want to be present. We want to be mindful, and we want to think about, how am I going to get this done, right? So tomorrow we're going to get an accountability buddy, and then Thursday we're going to break it all down, and then Friday we're going to get a safety net. But today is all about the mindset. So what are some of these questions that could be coming up? So I'll ask you, maybe for your clients, what are some of the questions that, things that are kind of going to squash them? They're going to sabotage themselves. That's going to hold them back specifically, right? It could be waiting to take action. That's going to sabotage them. Maybe they're not anticipating tough times. So when you set your goals, it's not always going to be rosy, right? When you're trying to accomplish something, there are going to be dips, as we know, as entrepreneurs, we take those dips. Some of those other mindset things could be viewing your mistakes as a failure, right? And asking yourself, how do I feel? So leaning into it, kind of owning those feelings and those emotions. I feel like those could be some of the things. As my guest here, is there anything that I'm going to take your professional hat off and put your business owner hat on? When you think about accountability and you think about these big goals and these visions that you have planning your business or even your personal life, what are some things that maybe tripped you up in your accountability or reaching your goals?
Well, not wanting people to know where you're really coming from, where you're really at, like I'm not far enough along to really be able to connect with these people who might be supportive. They might judge me. So that fear of being judged because you're not further along than you think you should be.
Right. And
which is
that's a
crazy.
fear. Right. It's interesting. I taught a workshop in November, and somebody got up and we were talking about celebrations. It was on goal setting. And she said, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. She said, I just hit my first $10,000 month. She said, and I've been in business for, I think she said 8 or 9 years. And it's been my goal every single year. And I've never had a $10,000 month. And she said, and I never told anybody because I was afraid of what they would think of me, that I would be a failure as a business owner, right?
Yeah.
And so she said, once I hit it, I realized, wow, maybe if I had said it out loud and had a little accountability, maybe that's what would have pushed me over to the edge. And it's just that shifting from fear to a growth mindset. It's just so simple. The next question I have is list some mindset shifts that can help you overcome these obstacles. So I like this one, become an expert in your field. And that's a great one to help with that self-sabotage, right? Because we know that the imposter syndrome and all of that, people think, well, I'm not good enough, or what am I doing in this position? Like, how I'm a fake, I'm a fraud, people are going to find out I shouldn't be doing this job. I'm not qualified. So a simple solution, a simple fix on that is just become an expert, study and learn. So you believe that you are the expert and you're putting yourself out there. And I think that could be a quick little technique. And of course, it's honing in on your skills. Any comments on that?
I love that. It's true. Like, educate yourself about it. And also telling yourself, like, Rome wasn't built in a day. Like, these people had to start somewhere. So
Right.
all I have to do is follow the steps and get support and accountability. And I can be there. I can get there also.
Right.
That helps.
I love that. So this next question, have you ever had or felt imposter syndrome? How did you overcome it? And I know you and I talked about this at the conference, and I said, I've had it. I've had clients that have had it. I used to have it when I was a chef until I got the degree that I was a chef. I was still working professionally as a chef, but until I went to culinary school, and then I went to culinary school, and the chef, and I remember one of the instructors saying to me, like, what are you doing here? You should be teaching this class. like, why are you even here? But it was a limiting belief in my head. And it was so silly. And I was like, wow, I could have just saved $10,000, to take this course to become a pastry chef. But it was just something I needed to have. So, and I know it sounds silly, but I'm just being vulnerable and sharing. So one thing I think that could help people also with imposter syndrome is to conduct a SWOT analysis. Have you ever done that? Conducting a SWOT analysis, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and strengths, threats?
Yes, I have.
It's powerful. And that's one of the workshops. It's one of the workshops I actually teach with people. I do that with them. And if they have someone that's a business partner, or if their significant other is a big part of their business, if they bounce things off of them, or if they have a VA, sometimes I will have them do the same form. So they have to write down the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And then the client has to do it, and they don't see the other one. And then they have to scan them into me. And then we get on the call. And then, of course, I'm helping out with that. And because someone who works really close to you can see your strengths, but maybe you can't. And I think that is a tool that someone who's struggling with imposter syndrome could use that. And also, here's a no-brainer: celebrate your success, right? And that's why we do SMART goals, because we measure them, we know when we've achieved them. And it's just, and this is the last day 5 of this challenge, we talk about the safety net. And the safety net, I have some things built in for that. And one of them is, when I hit this goal, then I will this. Well, what does that mean? I will get a massage, or I will buy a new iPhone, or I will like whatever little mind games that you have to play with yourself, with, tell yourself, but also sharing. Right. We see all these things, these scrolls on social media, share your win. Right. And I think I was raised Catholic. I'm an ex-Catholic. We're taught to like squash ourselves and not share. Right. But now I feel like it's the opposite. Now it's so empowering for self-care and for your mindset shifts to share your success and your wins. And, the people that are with you should be cheering you on as well. if they're in your community and they're in your circle, right? We want to see each other succeed and have success. And that brings me to, finding your community. It's really important. As we know, you are the company you keep, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So let me
Absolutely.
ask you, so moving forward, because I know you set some goals. And so now you're going to break the goal down, take one goal and ask people to pick the one goal, whether it's a 3-month, a 6-month or 12-month goal, right? We're going to be breaking it down. When you think about some of these limiting beliefs and what could trip you up, is there anything that comes to mind? I don't know if you're comfortable sharing one of your goals or not.
Yeah, I mean, I would love, what I want to do is develop more of a curriculum with my online course to be able to promote it for companies or organizations that have entrepreneurs under them, like direct
Great.
sales. So creating this kind of curriculum and then marketing it. So that's kind of I don't know
That's
if
a
that's
big,
a 3 or 6 month, definitely a 3 month.
having created a course before, and I know you have support. I know you have VA support. I think it probably would be a 3-month goal.
I have the course, but I have to create a wraparound curriculum that
Right.
really markets it for like developing leadership
Mm-hmm.
styles or in these different organizations. So, and then my limiting belief is like like kind of who am I, to say
Mm-hmm.
that I can teach all these people like in corporate places when I've never really been a big corporate person.
I have that limiting belief too around LinkedIn.
Right.
But of
So a
course,
little
we,
bit of
we have the
decoding.
tools. Yeah,
Oh,
we
we
have
have
the
the
tools.
tools.
And the main thing is, which is what today's conversation is about, it's the mindset. So when
Yeah.
we're in that mindset, we stop ourselves, we look in our toolbox, and then we come up with some of these things. And it could be just a quick little shift for you. And you're like, oh my gosh, of course, I've been teaching this for years. Oh, wait, and some of those other things too. I know over the years, you and I have talked about this. I've had people go and read their LinkedIn testimonials and recommendations, like hear what people are saying. And sometimes you just reading that and you go, oh, okay, I remember. And I know a lot of times I've had clients that have had, if they get a bad review, right? And it's like every experience you've had is there to grow you. So if you get a bad review or testimonial from a client, of course, right, our ego is squished and we're like, oh, we feel terrible. And that could kick in imposter syndrome and create some fears. Why should I even go for this goal? But if we flip it, and there's that mindset piece again, if we flip it and we really think this is here to teach me something and I'm going to be even better had this not happened, now my next client is really going to benefit because I'm going to look at this problem and do all that. So it really is just a mindset.
Mhm. Yeah. I try to like flip it and say, well, I have these certain skills that are going to be really helpful in this kind of a setting.
Right. So, well, thank you so much for being here for day 2 for our mindset and our limiting beliefs questions. And I would love to invite you to go back and watch the replay of a video that's posted on day 2. I interviewed a friend from eWoman who is also a mindset expert, and we talked about some of these. And so I posted it earlier this morning as a bonus, so that may help people when they get the workbook and they answer the questions.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
Suzanne, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you coming in and sharing your wisdom with us. And I hope this accountability is keeping you going. And I hope to see you on day 3.
I'll be there.
Thank you.
Thank you.